Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Kerm Foltz along with Jack Markham. We want to welcome you to our $1 Million Pipeline program. This is a game changer for your business, so we are extremely excited about having Laura Fitzgerald with us from Idaho American Dream Realty in Twin Falls, Idaho. Good morning, Laura. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Thanks for being here, Laura. I know we're going to take about 30 to 40 minutes to learn about how the $1 Million Pipeline program really was a game changer for your business. We'll briefly talk about the components of the $1 Million Pipeline program, allow you to answer some questions about the impact that it's had on your business. We'll have a full open forum of Q&A, so if you want to ask Laura some specific questions, we'll answer those live questions on today's call, so feel free to chat in. We also are going to briefly talk about what you must know about today's consumer, how to add consistent number of leads into your pipeline each month, the correlation between the number of leads that you add into your pipeline each month and the number of transactions that should unfold with the correct plan of attack. When we talk about the correct plan of attack, part of the $1 Million Pipeline program are implementing proven strategies and techniques, turning leads into contacts, being able to implement a 7-day plan of attack with a buyer lead, a 7-day plan of attack with a listing lead, and with the number of leads that you are generating each and every month, how to convert 5+ transactions consistently. We also have an offer for every person who wants to join the $1 Million Pipeline program. We have current customers with us from Market Leaders as well as future customers of Market Leader. We're going to invite each and every one of you to the $1 Million Pipeline program, which are 10 consecutive workshops that are all about increasing your gross commission income, by at least $80,000 to $100,000 over a 12-month period of time. So two people that we're very lucky to have with us today, Laura Fitzgerald, who is a very successful real estate professional from the Idaho American Dream Realty office. Her website is liveinmagicvalley.com, along with Jack Markham. Jack and myself cover the content of our Monday morning workshops of the $1 Million Pipeline program. So, Laura, thanks for taking the time out. I know you're extremely busy with family and your business. Let's talk about the $1 Million Pipeline program. When you have been with Market Leader for quite a few number of years, and you have told us January the $1 Million Pipeline program was a game changer for you, and your business completely turned around. Walk us through the $1 Million Pipeline program and the impact it's had on your business.
Well, one of the main reasons I was intrigued to do the $1 Million Pipeline is most of the agents out there will know we get 10 phone calls, 10 emails. Hey, do this and we'll do that. Here's leads, you can buy this, and there's so many ways you can waste your money. What intrigued me about the $1 Million Pipeline was that not only do you get leads from Market Leader, but you also have to go out and be able to generate your own. They would not do it if you only did one. You had to actually go out and generate your own. That really, really intrigued me to say, okay, wow, these guys really are interested in my success and how I continue to grow in my marketplace. And when I went online and I started taking the courses, and it's really overwhelming. It is. I'm not computer literate at all. I mean, I was trying to learn to write HTML. I bought books. It was ridiculous. But once I was able to start working these leads and knowing how each individual lead is a person and figure out how I try and get to that person, it was a huge, it was just a paradigm change in what we were doing at our office.
So how was it different? Because often, agents are thirsty for training. This is 10 consecutive Monday morning workshops, and it's all about two things. One, adding people into your pipeline, adding people into your funnel each and every day. So we talk about being able to generate a minimum of 30, 40, 50, 60 leads each and every month, partly from the leads that Market Leader provides, but also generating leads off of Facebook, off of Craigslist. You had mentioned Craigslist was a money changer. You were not being found online, and before January, now aren't you #1 in all the search engines in and around the Twin Falls area?
I keep looking, and we go back and forth between #1 and #2 and #3. So we kind of go back and forth, and I can tell when I don't have as many people going back to my website, we will drop. And I did not realize, again, this is all new to me, that every time I send somebody a link from Market Leader to come back in and look at listings, when they click on that link, it puts us up in the websites. I had no idea that that was part of what puts you up organically in websites. It was amazing to me to see that we were like on the 3rd page. And then all of a sudden, because we had so many returning people looking at things on our website, it just shot us to the top.
Yeah, so being able to execute and implement that 7-day plan of attack every time you get a buyer lead and a listing lead and driving those consumers back to your website, it actually helps you with your organic ranking then.
Absolutely.
So we focus on generating leads, and then more importantly, we focus on the engagement strategies to implement when you actually get a lead. Often, Laura, agents really struggle with what to do when they get a lead. Like, what do I say? What do I not say? What information do I have in front of me? What questions do I ask? Jack, you and are a phenomenal speaker and working with real estate professionals, just not only growing a business, but managing their business. And Laura later on is going to talk about being able to develop a system and a plan of attack. But Jack, what are some of the keys that you have come across speaking to real estate agents and some of the solutions that you ask them to implement on a daily basis?
Well, I mean, we always focus on 2 different things, right? It's lead generation and lead engagement. And I really think it comes down to 3 things. And we talk a lot about this in the $1 Million Pipeline workshops, as well as I talk about this a lot in my presentations. Being found, being connected, and being involved are the 3 key ingredients that I think every agent has to have in their business. If you think about our audience and how it's changed in the last 5 or 10 years, those 3 things, being found, being connected, and being involved, those are something that you have to have in your business. The problem is you have to have technology today that helps you do some of that. And I think those are what we focus on a lot, is helping that engagement. One is helping be found, and then helping that engagement process so people can get the ROI and get the GCI that they want out of their business.
Laura, would you say that the strategies that we talk about in regard to lead engagement strategies are pretty simple and quick to implement?
Well, it's almost embarrassingly simple. I mean, it's like, why didn't we do this from the get-go? I'm 44 years old. I've been in sales and my whole life pretty much, and yeah, it's simple. You just have to do it.
So our classes are every Monday morning. They last between 45 and 60 minutes. I call it more of a workshop because it is, we take live questions and we go into people's live back-end system, and instead of just telling people, we actually show them physically how to do things. Laura, you've been with Market Leader and you've been a real estate professional for over a decade, and now business changed in January. Would it be because you now are generating more leads into your pipeline, or is it because of the lead engagement strategies?
Well, I think it's both. It's learning how to work the leads that was super, super important with me, and figuring out who should work those leads. Even when I was taking those courses, everybody was in transition, always trying to, we're still trying to get that perfect person there to work those leads. And I think once you figure out how to engage your people that you're trying to turn into buyers or sellers, that's the prize right there. How do I do that?
Yeah, and Wally has a great question that we're actually going to take right now, Laura. What's your process? And I'm sure you probably have a different process now after being part of the first session of the $1 Million Pipeline program. What's your process with a buyer lead when the buyer lead doesn't have a phone number?
Okay, you guys taught me this. You contact them the way they want to be contacted. And
all right, say that one more time. Say that one more time, because this is something that people will miss. And that what you said is perfect.
We were turning off people by finding their phone number and calling them when they didn't give us their phone number. If they don't give you their phone number, they do not want you to call them. If you call them, you may as well delete them from your system. You've insulted them. It doesn't hurt to find it and just keep it in the back somewhere. I always click on the name and go to the white pages and put all the address if I can figure out where they're from. I always do that. But remember, you contact them the way they contacted you. If they put their phone number in there, that's great. Call them. But if they don't, then you try and get a hold of them. What I do is I look at the property that they've been looking at, and then if I've looked at that property, you can click to the side of every property. Hey, I don't like the letter that Market Leader has for you, so I've got my own in there. And hey, this one just went pending. This was a good property. Here were some of the issues. Is this something you're looking for? This was a fixer-upper. It looks like you're looking at a lot of bank owns. What questions do you have? And I write my blogs. I know we're kind of getting off track by what questions I'm getting or by what people are looking at. So if I have a client who I can't get to come back to my site after the first time, I will literally send them blogs. Okay, it looks like they were looking at foreclosure property. Do you have any questions, this and that? And then, well, here's some information on foreclosure property. Here's some more information on foreclosure properties. And I will try and get them to come back, and it's all links. So when they click on that link, again, it's driving you up organically, and you are engaging them. You are working to engage them.
Right, and that's so impactful because, yes, you are playing by the rules set by the consumer, and instead of trying to get, every time you get them back onto your website, which is your number one goal, that's a conversation you're actually having, but it's just a nonverbal conversation because your website provides them with education. It provides them with an opportunity for them to gather and collect information right there on your website. So, Jack, when we think about often, we set goals per day or sometimes for a week or sometimes for a month or the whole New Year's resolution and the someday goal as well. Walk us through kind of your thoughts on that one thing.
Well, I think everything starts with one thing, and I use this diagram a lot as the domino effect. And if anybody's ever heard Gary Keller speak, if you're from Keller Williams and got the opportunity to follow his book tour, he focuses a lot on the domino effect and the one thing in your business. And we lose sight of that sometimes. And we're getting a lot of chat questions right now, just, well, what if they don't leave phone number? The first thing, the one thing everybody has to focus on is understand your consumer and understand your audience. That is number one. If you don't take time to understand the different demographics, if you don't take time to understand your audience and how they're different today, then it doesn't matter where you generate leads. It doesn't matter what tools you have because you're not going to engage with them. One thing that Laura said that stood out that everybody should make that mental note of is respond to them or reach out to them like they want you to. If they don't leave you a phone number, what's it tell you? It tells you they don't want you to call them and they want them to remain behind the wall of the Internet. So it always starts with one thing. I think we can say it's lead generation or lead engagement, but first let's back all the way up and start to understand the consumer and start to understand what their motivation is and how that's different from our motivation.
And Laura, that really was the game changer for you, is you started playing by their rules, and instead of just wanting to get them face-to-face or over the phone, is you thought of yourself, what would the consumer want, and you always thought of the consumer and more servicing rather than selling. Yes, transactions, and you have quite a few now each and every month, and 15 plus next month is the outcome and result, but your approach was really the game changer.
I don't use automatic anything, and it's hard, but that is what the game changer was to me, is that I don't use hi. I use good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have a great, we had beautiful weather this weekend, beautiful, for the first time in months. And so it was, I hope you were outdoors this Saturday. Oh, I hope you got to enjoy. Because when they see that it is personally driven from you and not some blither that has been written prior, then, and even though I use my things that I've already written, but then I add the good mornings and the, hope your day was fun, or blah, to personalize it. That is when we started getting more people coming back on our sites. I've done lead generation stuff for years without a whole lot of success because I put it into the system and let the system work. Well, the system isn't personal. And there's some things, like the Market Insider, that I think are fabulous for that monthly. They don't expect that to be a personalized thing coming from you. But when you're actually sending somebody something, when I get emails, my email is stocked full of crap every day. And if I'm just pulling up somebody's blither, I'm not happy about that. But when I see good morning, Laura, and I know they wrote it that day, that's cool that they're actually getting a hold of, me. I'm the only one getting that, not 50 people.
Yeah, and Jack, if you think about, let's share our poll questions here. How many transactions do you want to, and I put in bold here, average consistently per month? Because I'll let Laura speak about this shortly. But Jack, what are some of the things, what are your thoughts on here? You see 45% want to have 3 to 5 transactions consistently each and every month.
Well, it's not going to happen by accident, right? So there has to be a starting point or a kickoff point, and we're going to showcase this funnel here in a bit that Kerm and I really teach on this program. But you have to understand that it starts with the beginning of your business, and that is generating leads. If you want more than 10 transactions a month, you've got to generate somewhere between 80 and 100 leads. It's not going to happen by accident, and you will have to implement new strategies and concepts to your business. It will not just change on its own. So think about where you are today, what path are you on, and what changes do you want to see in the next 30 days, then how are you going to implement those things, right? So that's that one thing, and picking a someday goal. What can you do today that will affect that someday goal? There's always things you do today, and that has to be lead generation and accompanied with the lead engagement.
And Laura, obviously you had mentioned earlier the $1 Million Pipeline Program was a game changer for you. The $1 Million Pipeline Program really eliminated peaks and valleys. Why has this program provided you the opportunity to consistently have a number of transactions each and every month? And then walk us through why agents have those ups and downs in their business.
Well, my favorite saying is God gets what's left at the end of the day. And then, and I think our lead generation systems get maybe even less than that. So if we are only working on our lead generation systems, as I was at 10 o'clock at night, then you are not contacting somebody when they wanted to be contacted. When, if you're not able to work that lead within 15 to 20 minutes of when you get it, then the likelihood of that actually turning into something has faded drastically. And so for us, the big changer for us, when I started, I handed out the leads. We handed out, and everybody worked, and I just handed them out to everybody. Well, then I realized I'm the best salesperson in our office. I'm the one who needs to be emailing. I'm the one who needs to be calling. So I actually quit showing property, and I hand my buyer's agents the leads when they're ready to buy. They don't do anything other than go out and show them property or send them if they're, but I am the one who gets these leads going. When that dynamic changed in our office, it just exploded. I cannot describe to you the difference to having one person focusing on everything, and it just made a huge difference.
Nice. So let's talk about everything this program has. Obviously, here are some of the challenges that agents face today in their business. How do they consistently generate leads each and every month? How do they engage leads, like help someone through the process of successfully buying or selling a home? How do they actually convert it? The negotiations part of it and putting offers down and going back and forth. And then how do they continue relationships with their past clients to generate even more referrals? So this is what the $1 Million Pipeline Program is all about. It's 10 weekly live workshops. We're going to focus on lead generation techniques. We will focus on generating leads from Google, from Bing, from Yahoo. We'll talk about effective ways to generate leads off of Craigslist, getting more people adding into your sphere of influence using Facebook or Twitter. The result of that is becoming #1 on search engines organically, but also what we'll focus on are specific ways to actually convert leads, like turning leads into contacts, provide reasons for your customers, your clients, your leads to reach out directly to you, and then for you to accelerate their timeline. The $1 Million Pipeline Program is a website that will locate all of the recordings and class notes. There are 3 vital components of the $1 Million Pipeline Program. It's one, it's guaranteed leads. So we're going to fill your pipeline with 20 guaranteed leads a month. These are people that are proactively registering directly on your website because they want up-to-date, timely listings, a report of listings sent to them, or they want a monthly report on the market in your specific area. We'll also teach you how to generate 30 or more leads a month, so a total of 50 to 60. Some agents, Laura, are generating 100, 110, 120 leads each and every month. But you'll have a guaranteed number of 20, and then we'll teach you ways to generate at least another 30 each and every month, because your focus is going to be increasing your gross commission income by at least $80,000 over the course of the next 12 months. Laura will also, and you've participated in this, we'll talk about specific techniques to identify your leads demographic and your timeline. So we've removed the guessing and the chasing that agents often put in their daily routine, because every time you get a buyer lead, every time you get a listing lead, now you launch your 7-day plan of attack to actually convert that buyer and seller lead into an actual contact. So now you have a consistent number of contacts reaching out to you each and every week. Thus, the outcome and the result are the number of closings per month. And this comes with the education, which includes 10 live weekly workshops. Here's what the $1 Million Pipeline program that starts May 13th. Our second session looks like. It's 10 consecutive Mondays focusing on adding people to our pipeline, focusing on lead engagement strategies. So, Laura, what's the one thing that you implement in your business every day now from what you learned in the first session of the $1 Million Pipeline program?
Well, first of all, I will be doing all of these sessions again. It is a great refresher, and I will absolutely do each one of these again because every time I listen, I go on and find them, and I listen again, I've missed something. So these things are absolutely unbelievable to your business. And I would say Craigslist for us was the big one. Learning Craigslist, which took a lot. I mean, it was hard for me, but once I learned it, it was good and generated more leads than we could even imagine.
And Laura, Gary has a great question, and I know this has probably impacted you. What if someone has to miss a live coaching session? How do they make it up?
Well, for me, the live coaching sessions aren't at a very good time during the day, so I went back in and just listened to them on my own, and it worked. And because I could stop it, I could think about it, write it down, go back in. And even the ones that I would listen to, I would go back and listen to them again and write down, okay, here's this, here's help, till I really understood what it was asking me to do.
Yeah, and we talk specifics here. In each of these classes, tell everybody, Laura, about how we actually go in and to people's live back-end systems, offer volunteers, and we show people how to do this. Our last one, which was fun, which was all about website analytics and utilizing that in listing presentations as well. But walk us through and tell everyone, like, this is not necessarily just a webinar, it's a workshop because we go into live systems.
Oh, you get to watch as they actually go into, like they could go into my market leader, look at my letters, see what I'm writing, see what I'm doing, and you get to take that information, you glean that information, and go back to your own website. And I have two screens. So one screen I have the webinar going, and if we're in somebody else's market leader, I have my market leader. Last week I was on that webinar, and I was going through all the statistics as they were in that back end. And I'm pretty good with my back end because it's important to me. But there were some things that I didn't know, and it was like, oh, awesome, here's that information. That's great. So you can actually work side by side.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. And, so often, our audience today, they're probably generating under 30, 40 leads each and every month. So it's impossible for them to get to that 3, 4, 5, 6 number of transactions each and every month. One of the reasons why they struggle with generating leads is because when they do get a lead, we don't know what to do. They have a lead. What do they email? What do they send? Now your plan of attack is pretty darn consistent each and every month, and you always utilize the right approach and the 7-day plan of attack you learned in that $1 Million Pipeline program. So there is a difference between having that right approach and that incorrect approach, isn't there?
Absolutely. And I would tell anybody out there who's like, oh, can I do this? Can I not do this? What? You can all do this. This is not brain surgery. It's so easy that you think, gosh, why didn't I do this before? And you will generate so many leads, and it's actually refreshing when you just get to delete one. You will get to the point, that's where I am. You will get to the point where, oh, good, I get to delete one because you have so many. I mean, that might sound crazy, but you have so many to work with.
Yeah, and now, Jack, this is kind of your baby. Let's talk about the pipeline. And I think when you talk about a pipeline, it's always about adding. It's always about advancing. Walk us through, because we start every $1 Million Pipeline program workshop with the funnel. Walk us through this.
Well, I think this looks very familiar to Laura. She's probably seen this on every single workshop that we've done. But this diagram speaks a lot of what your business should look like as a real estate agent. You'll notice the income, which is GCI, which is one of our goals. Kerm and I, when we developed this program, we said we got to have a goal that is trackable and monitored by agents, and that is really to increase GCI. You'll notice that that's the end result. If you go all the way up to the top, how do you affect that? Remember your one thing. What's the one thing you can do today that can affect that end result? And it is really, we teach you how to drive more traffic to your website because we understand the more traffic you drive to your website is going to equal what? Leads. And the more leads that you generate is going to be contacts because we also know that not every lead is a contact. But with every single contact comes the ability to have more active people on your website actively saving and searching homes. And then from there, you draw a pool of motivated clients. And we know motivated clients as people that we're out showing homes to and people that we have signs in the yards. those people write transactions. Those people affect our GCI. But look where it starts, that funnel. It goes all the way down to what you're left with. And I know the average agent today generates less than 20 leads a month. Plug in those numbers and see what you're left with. If you plug in, let's say, 15 leads, you're going to be left with 0 or 1 motivated clients, which is going to equal about 0 or 1 transaction per month. So if you plug in 50, 60, 70 leads, how we increase, that's one of the things that we teach is increasing those leads on these workshops. The numbers drastically change. I mean, it really does affect your overall GCI and your end results. And so this is what we focus on a lot, is how not only to drive more traffic using different sources like Craigslist, social media, print, search engines, but then how do you move these through the funnel? Because I think that's an important piece, and really understanding today's consumer and how they want to engage is going to be a key factor for everybody moving these through the funnel.
And if you're a current market leader customer, you actually might already be eligible for the $1 Million Pipeline program. We'll provide you with a phone number to call in to determine if you're already eligible. And the nice thing about the $1 Million Pipeline program is we answer all those questions because we teach agents how to move leads down that funnel, as Jack had mentioned. Like, the first goal that you get a lead, what's your number one goal, Laura, when you get a lead?
Oh, it's like a drug anymore. It's like how fast can I get them to come back to me? How fast can I figure out how to get them to come back? What do they need?
When you say come back where?
Oh, to come back to my site.
Exactly. And where do you think, most agents, when they get the lead, their number one goal is to turn it into a transaction or to qualify or to determine how serious someone is. Your whole goal is just, hey, let's just get them back onto my website so I can gather and collect information so I can provide them with more specifics.
I think when I took this webinar, you asked that specific question, what do you want to happen once you get that lead? And we all had to type in, and like 99% of the people typed in, turn it into a transaction. And it didn't even pop into my brain until you talked about it. That was mine. Oh, I want a transaction. No, that's not what you want.
Yeah, and now because of that, the outcome and results is you have, 15 plus closings expected next month?
And just over the weekend, we have another 6 buyers that we're going to be working with that'll be in town the next week and a half.
So why should people even be interested in the $1 Million Pipeline program?
Because it's the great equalizer, the great equalizer. You don't have to have a big name behind you. Nobody cares anymore. People who used mom and dad, oh, I want to use the realtor my mom and dad used. That's gone. Those days are done. People already have the houses they want to see. We realtors are people who unlock doors and write contracts. So we have to figure out how to get to those people first and best. And that is what this does. It's the equalizer. It's the easiest thing ever.
I like that you call it the equalizer because earlier you had mentioned everyone's equal online, aren't they?
Yeah.
And so I think one of the approaches that you implement all the time is you service rather than sell, and you almost appear as the co-pilot. You had earlier mentioned your number one goal is to drive people back to your website, and that really eliminates them from having to go collect information or visit other search engines. Talk to us a little bit about confidence. I mean, we didn't talk about this when I first talked last week. How are things changed in regard to just your confidence level since January?
Well, it's always, you never want to get, you don't like to be told no. You're always afraid when you type that email or you send out that you're going to be bothering somebody and you're going to make them mad. And I think the thing that you need to get through your head is, first of all, you have to believe in yourself. I am the best agent for this person to use when they come to town to buy a house or if they live in town. I know the most. I have the most information, and I am going to get that to you, and that's what you need. You need me. If you go to every email you're going to write with that in your brain, that they need me, and if they don't realize it, well, shame on them. But I'm going to do everything I can to make them realize they need me.
Yeah, exactly, and they need your expertise as well. So these are all the areas that you can be found. Laura, you actually generate leads from quite a few of these sources. Jack, walk us through how people can be found and then where consumers are shopping.
So this is your roadmap. So if you're going to join the $1 Million Pipeline program, and honestly, after listening to Laura, I don't know too many people that wouldn't. If you think, just listen to what she's saying and the confidence that she has coming through her voice. But this is the roadmap that you're going to implement into your business over the next 30 days. What I'll say about this is it's a concept, right? Because you have to understand that middle piece there, that is your website. However, today, with today's consumers, all the different demographics, all the different groups, Your website's not just a website anymore, it's a store. And you have to imagine your website as a store. And the key is how many different people can you get into your store? How many different people can you bring back shopping down your aisles getting content from you? Because the number one thing you have to do as an agent is get them back on your website and eliminate that search engine that they found you off of. Because if you don't, where are they going the very next day? Is they're going to go back to Zillow, Craigslist, and Google because that's what they know. So it's about taking your store and then replacing the bigger store with your website.
And Jack and Laura, one of the things that we focus on are generating leads that go directly to you. So like Laura has an ad on Google, Laura has an ad on Yahoo and Bing that Market Leader has created that will guarantee her X number of leads each and every month. So she has to have a minimum of 20 leads. Quite frankly, she's generating over 100 a month. So one source will be from search engines such as Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And then another source, which is a game changer, Laura, is Craigslist. So you implemented this immediately from one of the classes that we went over, correct?
Yes.
And then, Jack, what are some of the keys when we talk about generating leads from Craigslist? As I'll provide a couple of examples. And then we have a full 60 to 75-minute class that's all about, hey, here are the ads to utilize on Craigslist that are effective.
Well, I think some of the keys is understanding that you have a store and it's showcasing the value in your store, right? So your goal when you do Craigslist is to get people off of Craigslist and onto your website. And you do that by having very short, concise messaging, right? You don't want to offer too much because it's a disqualifier. Because if you offer everything in the ad, then what's the reason for that person to go to your website? So showcasing the tools. Now, I will tell you with Craigslist, there are must-haves on your website that you have to have. Okay, you have to have a consumer-focused website. You have to have IDX. You have to have up-to-date neighborhood information, a value proposition lead capture tool. You have to have the ability to have it mobile as well. Like there's things that you have to have in order to be in Craigslist. We teach all those things, and we teach how to implement that on the Craigslist. I will tell you, our Craigslist class that we do and that Laura was a part of, it was generate 20 leads in 7 days. I don't know how many people, Kerm, that we got to email us saying, I did 40 leads in 7 days just following our strict plan. It works. And it's amazing, but it works every single time.
Correct. And then, so part of this is when you're a part of the $1 Million Pipeline program, you get all the class notes. You actually get, you have access to the $1 Million Pipeline program website, so you can go back and listen to the class recordings. And then, Jack, also part of the ways that you can get more eyeballs on listings and add to your sphere of influence and continue relationships with past clients is via social media. So we'll teach people via Facebook or Twitter what ads to place on or post on Facebook just to get more people back to your website as well. And Laura, you had mentioned the more people that are on your website, obviously the higher that you're going to go up in organic searches. Tell us a story about the out-of-town buyer from California that you found out some specific information that he was an avid fisherman, and how being able to utilize some information on Facebook allowed you to actually make that touch a little bit more personalized.
Well, I am now officially a Facebook stalker, and I am not a Facebook fan. In fact, that's a whole other thing. It's like, do I have time for this? But yes, you have time for Facebook. And I had a client that I could tell wasn't really sold. He was moving up here. In fact, he's one of the guys that will be up here this week, and we will be showing him property. But he was, you could just kind of tell that he just wasn't on board fully. And I just didn't feel, I felt like he either is having a conversation with somebody else that I don't know about, because if they've joined your site, they've probably joined another. That's another thing you have to keep in mind. If they're on yours, there's probably another one out there. So you have to be the best. And if you can't figure out if they're going, you get that feeling, I'm not quite getting what I need from this guy. Well, I went on, and his specifics for a home was a fenced yard for his dog, and he wanted to be by water. And my first thought was, oh, he wanted to be by water for his dog, be able to let his dog swim. Well, so I searched him on Facebook. No, he is a huge fisherman. So I create links to everything I can find in our area about fishermen. Yes, it took me about a half hour, but they're going to buy a $175,000 house, so I can spend a half hour trying to get this guy for a commission. And I sent him over the links, and I said, you wanted to be by water. So I don't know if it was what that was regarding, but if it was for fishing, here is all the information, a bunch of information for our area on areas to fish, derby days, things that are going on, blah blah blah. Sent it to him. I could be Satan and he would buy his house from me.
Well, you know what you did is you personalized it.
Yeah.
And you had the right systems in place. It's nice that actually that was some of the things that we had taught and that you learned in the $1 Million Pipeline program is now you appear as unique. Now you appear as successful and not as just another face in the crowd. You also implement texting. We talked briefly a couple of classes as to how to, in fact, we just did one a couple of weeks ago on winning with email. But we also talked about strategies, when to text, what to text. Tell us a little bit about some of your strategies of how you implement texting nowadays.
Well, the 7 days of trying to get people back to your site are the days when I'm polite, and I try and only get a hold of them the way they want to be gotten a hold of. And after that, it's all bets off. If they haven't come back to the site, then if I have found their phone, I'm not going to call them, but I am going to text them. It is so amazing that the same, texting is not as personal, even though it's that same phone number that they didn't know you had or that they didn't give you. After that 7 days, if you haven't gotten them to the site, then, who cares? You're either going to delete them, insult them, whatever. You just got to figure out where they're going. So you may as well now pull out all the stops and try and get these people to do something. And by texting these people, because you'd be surprised how many numbers you're going to get off that white pages and how many addresses you're going to get. I always write a personal letter to them, a little personal note. If I can find their address, whether they gave it to me or not, they don't mind getting a nice personal note in. That has been a huge one for us, too, is sending that letter in the mail. But when you text people, they'll text you back. Oh, not really interested right now. Great. I'll make sure. Please feel free to use the site. And if I see information that I think you might have is pertinent to you, I will email it to you. And I think 2 of those people are buyers that wouldn't come back to the site, and 2 of those people will be buying here within the next probably 3 weeks.
And you can see exactly what Kerm's put on the screen, and that is a roadmap, so to speak, of transactions, maybe your goals of transactions, and then how many leads that you have to generate in order to get those goals. And Laura, I'm curious, when you started the $1 Million Pipeline program, what were some of your goals? Obviously, you joined for a reason. What were some of your goals as far as transactions? Where were you looking to take your business?
My goal wasn't necessarily a number of transactions. My goal was if I don't get online, I cannot just live on, I can do 5 or 6 transactions a month of people I know, but I am getting left behind in this online industry, and I did not want that for my business nor my agents. And my goal was to learn how to have a presence online. That was my actual goal. I knew I needed that presence or we were going to get left behind.
That's interesting. And then, so here's, a lot of agents probably on today's call were in that same boat or in that boat today that you were in a couple of months ago. So I asked right now everyone to probably put that, with that piece of paper that you have in front of you, jot down how many transactions do you want to average consistently each and every month, and then generating leads can't be a one-time event. It needs to be a process throughout the month. So when you want 7 to 8 transactions, then you must have greater than 80 new leads each and every month from multiple lead sources, and then implementing and or executing the correct approach will provide you the opportunity to have that outcome or a result of 7 to 8 transactions. So when you're only generating 20 new leads each and every month, then you can only anticipate or expect 1 to 2 transactions when you implement and execute the correct approach. So really it comes down to the $1 Million Pipeline program. It's 3 vital components. It's a guaranteed number of leads. So you're going to be able to fill your pipeline with at least 20 guaranteed leads a month. Plus we'll teach you ways from different sources to generate 30, 40, 50, 60 leads each and every month. We'll also walk you through how you can increase your referrals just via your sphere of influence with targeted messaging, and then also techniques to identify your leads demographic. Where do they fall on that timeline? What you do, Laura, and what we teach is that 7-day plan of attack to get people back to your website consistently so you can identify where they fall on their timeline, what demographic they fall into as well. It's 10 live coaching workshops. So we're going to provide the phone number. And then, Laura, we got some great questions from agents that want to learn a little bit from your expertise. But these are the 10 classes. The first session is May 13th. The phone number to join the $1 Million Pipeline program is 888-820-4778. And when you join the $1 Million Pipeline program today, you can take advantage of special pricing, which will be $99 in May and $99 in June. So what a great way to get 10 workshops, all focused on generating leads, all focused on lead engagement strategies, to get enough people in your pipeline. Boy, it's the spring and summer. More people are active. We hear this all the time, Laura, in regard to multiple offers on homes not staying on the market very long. More people are excited about the industry of real estate today than they ever have been in recent years. So this is a busy time of year for you as well.
Yeah, it is a very busy time of year on top of doing the market leader. But again, I want to mention the market leader. One of the great things that it shows you when you go look at a client, it shows you what they've looked at. If that listing has gone pending, it goes gray. And you can, and I just did this last night, sent a client who hadn't been on for a long time. He came back on to look at the ones I'd sent him. 4 of the ones he'd looked at a month ago are gone. So I sent him an email, hey, look, these 4 are already gone. Wow, the market really is going crazy.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of our engagement strategy classes. Like, that's a reason to reach out, and it's with relevant content.
Market Leader helps you stay relevant. It gives you the tools that you need if you just use them.
So that's a great question from Robert. Robert's a new agent. What are the essential components that must be in place to maximize effectiveness with this program?
You have to have somebody who isn't afraid to go in and find out what the buyer is wanting. You have to go get that done immediately. You can't be afraid of the lead. You have to just go do what needs to be done to turn it into a contact or into a buyer.
Yeah, and Jack, here's another question. We have Christine's a new agent. She doesn't even have a website yet, so she wants to join the program. Do you offer a course on creating a website? You're going to love this answer, Christine.
Well, it's all part of the solution, Christine. So when you join the program, you're going to get the Market Leader solution as well. The Market Leader solution is pretty much everything Laura has in her business. It's website, IDX, contact management that's connected, marketing center. I mean, it's a huge solution for your business that takes all the things that we have to have as agents, and instead of having them separated, it brings them into one solution. So you get all of that, plus you get the unlimited coaching and live training from the $1 Million Pipeline workshops that Laura has had as well.
And Andy, yes, there is a lead guarantee, so we'll guarantee you whatever package that you take, minimum number of leads each and every month. Here's a good question, Brad. What do you do with these leads, Laura, when you don't have the inventory to help them?
That is a tough one because we are in that situation right now that we don't have enough inventory in our $100,000 to $130,000 to give to get to the buyers that are out there. We're getting multiple offers on properties, and that's a new thing for me. So how I've been handling it with my leads is just letting them know that, hey, I'm here. I will email you the minute. I'm here for you the minute a new home comes on the market. Are you ready to go in that minute? What do we need to do to make sure that when that comes on the market, we're out looking at that property? You have to be ready. If I'm ready for you, you're ready for me. Let's go. And that has been huge.
And often, Laura, the first time that we talked on the phone last week, you had said this program's not for everybody. And you and I like that because these are people, the program is really for real estate professionals that are seriously focused on generating X number of leads each and every month with high number of transactions each and every month, because you got to go to work. Like in these classes, you actually have to implement the ideas, and you got to go to work. So sometimes this program isn't for everybody.
It's not for everybody. I knew I was going to be on this webinar this morning, so I came into work an hour earlier so that I could get my online stuff finished before I went on this webinar. This is a priority of your day. If this is only what you're going to do for a couple of extra leads here and there, this is not for you. This will transform your business and how you do your business completely. If you don't want that, this isn't for you.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, it's a nice exclusive club of agents who are truly focused on having higher number of transactions and impacting their business. This isn't, like you had said, just about 5, 10, 15, 20 leads. This is about being focused on generating leads, having the right plan of attack with consumers, playing by their set of rules. So if you are a market leader customer and you want to determine if you're eligible for it, the phone number is 888-820-4778. If you are not a current market leader customer, call the phone number so you can join the $1 Million Pipeline Program, which is all about increasing your gross commission income over a 12-month period of time. That phone number is 888-820-4778. Jack, we had another question that someone who has a terrible host. My website is a terrible host. Who would you recommend and why? Does it keep the client engaged to stay on your site? Again, Jack, they get the website which is focused on generating leads and educating clients. They get all of the education classes and also the system that tracks and monitors all that behavior. So the foundation of the program will provide agents everything they need to execute and implement.
Yeah, we wouldn't coach it if we couldn't provide it. So what I will tell you, and I'll just piggyback what you and Laura were talking about, is this isn't for everybody. It's not. There are real estate agents, and then there's the doers in the industry. And this is for the doers. And the doers are committed to their own success. That's what separates a doer, is they're committed to be successful no matter what. And those are the people that are really going to excel at this program, because anyone can get on a workshop and anyone can go through the motions, but can you implement, and are you driven enough to implement? And those are the people that will see results. And that's important to remember. And if you're on this webinar and you're thinking, like Laura said, well, a couple leads, this might be okay, then it's not for you. But if you're the type of person that can already see and vision where your business wants to be in the next 90 days, then you have to join this, because this is exactly what you want.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Go ahead.
I just got a little whistly doody on my phone that says you have a new contact. Name. Here's their phone number. Call them immediately to introduce myself. My market leader just got a new lead with a phone number, a good phone number.
You better start executing the 7-day plan of attack then.
I mean, that's how this works. Just kind of crazy.
Yeah, so we did session 1, which was January, February, March, was very successful. So we are starting session 2 of the $1 Million Pipeline Program. That'll be on Monday, May 13th. You do want to join ASAP because you have access to session 1. So we do 9 a.m. on the Pacific time zone every Monday at 9 a.m. Everyone gets access to the website. So if you can't attend the 9 a.m. live workshop, or you do attend and you want to review and visit it again, you have access to all of the class notes and the reoccurring recordings. And also, we're going to add some things with best practices and tips, and hopefully in second session where people can share their thoughts and ideas as well. Hey, Laura, Wally just chatted in too. He just received a new message of a new client on his cell phone too.
Awesome.
Yep. Farrah has a question. Laura, she doesn't know much about the computer. How simple is it after you take these classes?
Oh, it's so simple. It is so. The problem for me is I wanted to know more. I wanted to do more, and I made it harder for me. I wanted to know how to blog. I wanted to know how to write my own HTML for my Craigslist ads. It is so simple. Market Leader makes it so very simple to get all this stuff done, but I guarantee you that you will want more. You will want to know more and do more, because it's almost ridiculous how these leads start coming in, and you go, seriously? Okay, well, if I do that, then this is going to happen. Well, if I could learn to do that, then this is going to happen. And that's why it gets difficult, and it's just a learning process. It's nothing. If I can do it, trust me, you can do it.
Yep, and it has all of these 10 classes. It's interesting, too, because now that you said that, Carl, my market leader, just got a new lead with a phone number as well, a seller lead. He's excited about that. You are eligible, Carl, as long as you have a minimum of 20 listing leads each and every month. Tim just got a lead as well, so this is now becoming contagious. And I do believe that we'll teach you how to it's not like if you can send an email, all right, then that's all you really need to be able to do in regard to the computer part of it. So, Jack, these are some of the classes that we'll cover in the $1 Million Pipeline program, which begins on May 13th. If you're a current customer, okay, then you are going to call the number, which is 888-820-4778. You can determine if you're eligible. If you are eligible, then they'll provide you with access to the website, and they'll provide you, we'll actually register for you. If you're not a current customer and you want to join the $1 Million Pipeline program, you're going to want to call in as well. It's a minimum number of 20 guaranteed leads each and every month. So when you call in, talk about the areas that you want your leads to come from. So you're going to want to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different areas, both zip codes and communities of where you want your leads to come from. And then we're going to go to work. We're going to go to work and learn about how not only just to generate leads, but turning leads into contacts, being able to successfully go into your system, see at any given time where X number of people have been on your website in the last 48 hours. We'll teach you techniques to enhance your website. One of the things that you have done is a contact me or call me or ask me questions. Is that down below on your website as well, I like?
Yes.
And one of the things, too, is Carl says, if you can't attend these 10 sessions, would you be repeating this in the future? You'll have access to these classes. So part of being part of the program is that you'll have access to it via the website on a consistent basis. So, Jack, my voice is going. What are some of the other thoughts that you have?
No, I think this is a great opportunity for those of you who came on this webinar to see how you can impact your business. Especially, I mean, this is an exciting time, right? The market's back. It's springtime. We know that this is a big chunk of where our business comes from is this time of year. So this is a huge opportunity for everyone to get to part of, and I like it's a club, right? We do the workshop, but it's a club. We have other agents sharing best practices and ideas. You heard from Laura herself. She's going to be attending session 2 as well. So it's fun for us to do. It's something that we're passionate about. I did a webinar on Saturday regarding Craigslist, and there was a member of the $1 Million Pipeline. He said he wanted everyone to know on that call that these workshops have doubled his business. They taught him how to double his business in a very short time.
Who is that? Doubled their business in 3 months?
Yeah. Doubled his business, and I sent that out to the whole team here at Market Leader because I think that's why we do this. It was the whole thought process behind there. So I'm excited for session 2 to start. Hope to see a lot of people join. Laura,
what are your final thoughts?
That if this doesn't work for you, you probably shouldn't be in real estate. It's not the system. I mean, I know that's a harsh thing to say. If you can't make this work, if this doesn't absolutely completely change how you do what you do in real estate, then it just might not be the business you should be in, because this is the easy. This is that thing you need to have for your business. You just need it.
Hey, Laura, our first opportunity to talk was last Monday. I think just speaking to you is so refreshing because you get it. You bust your tail, and all of the success that you have had is because of the demeanor, the ability for you to communicate effectively with today's consumer. And I don't think there's a simple reason as to why you're so successful is because you do a phenomenal job of executing and implementing and changing and adapting your business with today's consumer. So wonderful job, Laura. I think if there's anything that we can do for you, we just really appreciate you taking the time over the last hour to talk about your business and really the impact that the $1 Million Pipeline program has had on your business. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, guys. I just followed the guidelines you gave me. That's all I did. I followed those guidelines. It was thank you. I didn't do anything dynamic. I just did what I was told to do.
Well, that's good, too. So I appreciate that, Laura. Go take care of the kids. I know you got a busy day, and I'm sure we'll go back and forth on email. So I want to continue to learn about some of the things that you're implementing and all the success. So take care, and thank you very much.
If they want to email me questions, if they want to go into my back end and see what if people are still on the sidelines and they want to see something or they have questions for me, please email me. I'm more than happy. You should do this. And if you need another question to me, please email me. I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, everyone, for attending. We hope that you can join our $1 Million Pipeline program, which starts back up on May 13th. The phone number is 820-4778. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye.